Ryan is 15 and is one of the most courageous teenagers you'll meet. He's hoping that by sharing his incredible story, it might make us think twice before judging someone who looks or sounds a little bit different.
I tear up when I talk about it. He's the most amazing person, and for what he's been through, so resilient, so resilient. Straight thinking on it.
He's got a kind smile and a sweet nature, yet Ryan knows all about struggle. Just ask his devoted mum, Dot.
Unfortunately, these kids tend to go through a phase of, I don't want to live like this, I can't live like this, I can't get through my life living like this is not a life, and that gets dark.
Ryan has Tourette Syndrome, the neurological disorder that causes involuntary muscle movements and vocalisations known as tics. The 15-year-old can sometimes suppress his vocal tics, but he can't control the head shakes, which have made things rough at high school.
Ryan, kids can be pretty mean sometimes. What kind of things have you had to go through?
They just, they call me, names. They'd also, say that I'm weird or oh, why are you doing that? Just stop, stuff like that.
If only it were that easy. Tourette's is a lifelong condition, but Dot embraces the ups and downs, raising Ryan and his sister Angelina at their home in Melbourne's northeast.
Angie and I, we saw hot, spicy marshmallows.
Yuck.
Those living with Tourette's haven't been helped by Hollywood, which has sometimes used the condition for laughs, particularly when it comes to the vocal tics. Dot wants to clear up the misunderstandings around the condition.
When I do say, my son has Tourette's, and somebody responds with, oh, so does he swear a lot? That's very frustrating. Yeah, these kids are suffering quite a bit. Adults, they go from kids to adults still suffering, and they need that support.
Apart from the emotional distress, Ryan's Tourette's causes pain and stress in his neck, requiring therapy. He tries to force himself not to tic at school, but besides being emotionally exhausting, the tension just comes out later in the day.
I'm suppressing, because, I don't want people to see me like that. Then I come home and it's just really bad at home. It gets even worse.
This is common, according to Associate Professor Daryl Efron from the Murdoch Children's Research Institute.
So Tourette's is an incredibly frustrating condition because the kids can partially suppress the tics through the school day, but that comes at a real cost because there's a build-up of inattention and it can be exhausting, and fatigue's a really big factor.
Like Dot, Associate Professor Efron is passionate about improving our understanding of Tourette's.
So I think there's still a lot of misconceptions. People often think that it's a sign of a mental illness or an intellectual problem, which it isn't. It's a biologically based, genetically based disorder with environmental factors contributing.
And sadly, while some medications have proved helpful, more support and research is needed to find a cure.
I think there's a long way to go before we can fully understand what's happening in the brain and therefore how we can better help people with Tourette syndrome.
Mandy Maisie and her family are based on the Gold Coast. All Mandy's kids have a form of Tourette's, and as we discuss life with the mother of three, off camera, 11-year-old Trix begins ticking vocally, the symptom of Tourette's known as coprolalia.
He was full-blown with coprolalia and copropraxia quite quickly, following his initial Tourette's showing. Sorry, that was a bit distracting. Trix.
I sound like SpongeBob.
Yes, Trix, they're trying to film.
Mandy's family has also felt the glare of strangers unfairly judging their circumstances, but they too hold out hope for a cure.
There's a few hard bits. There are times when the kids are crying and they don't want to exist, but they are loving, energetic, intelligent, eloquent, beautiful human beings, and there's a lot of love.
And that's the case for most of these kids. There's love at home, but they'd just like us, the community, to play our part. As for Ryan, he's now at a new school and making plenty of friends. But when the day is done, his biggest supporter is waiting at home.
Clearly you've got a mum who loves you very much, mate. How important is she for you?
I think she's just the best mum in the world. It doesn't get much better than this.
And the Murdoch Children's Research Institute is about to study a sample group of people living with Tourette's to try to get a better understanding of the causes.